Today marks our 49th episode, and we kick off with news about the city's controversial annexation plan. We'll also look at the conflict between doing what you want and doing what your family wants. Finally, we'll explore the communities that border our small town, and we'll close the show with a piece on holiday celebrations. If you believe in the Mayan prophecy, then today's your last day on Earth. We're glad to spend it with you. Welcome to The Deck.
The city of Decatur has a small school system, but in the future, that could all change. Here's the latest on the city's expansion plans.
Recently, the city of Decatur has been looking for ways to expand through annexation. With the proposed annexation, 6 areas are being looked at to be incorporated into the city of Decatur. With these areas, up to 2,000 new students could be added to the school system. Here's a look at 2 neighborhoods with residents so opposed that they formed petition groups. Area B1, behind DeKalb Medical, has one resident, Molly Badgett, that started the group, Annex Me Not.
I base it on, people that don't have kids. And there are several people in this neighborhood that don't have kids, and we have a voice too. And, those people who have kids, I'm sure they'd like for their kids to go to the city schools. And I feel like they should have bought in the city.
Right off of South Candler is Area D, where resident Kevin Polite became the chairman of the group, No to Decatur.
Most of the people that live here don't have kids, or their kids are grown, or they're retired. And so, it has the school system really doesn't have any benefit for us. We wanted to make sure the city of Decatur knew how the rest of the neighborhood felt and that we didn't want to be part of the annexation. So that's why we started the group, so we could get petitions and get them signed and make sure that the city of Decatur heard both sides of the story.
On December 3rd, the city manager, Peggy Maris, recommended that they focus on commercial areas for now.
Pretty much develop the recommendation looking at how to make sure we met the city commission's objectives on expanding the real estate tax base and having future influence over redevelopment of kind of key areas coming into the city there at North Decatur and Claremont and North Decatur and Church.
The decisions for annexation are still being decided. For updated information, visit 310.org. For The Deck, I'm Anita Renfro.
Everyone knows how to ride a bike, but try riding it in the same gear the entire time. Junior Hagen Altizer does it, and he's good at it.
I started riding a fixed gear. I started riding on the street about 3 years ago, I think. And I started out just kind of riding around town and just for fun. But I quickly started racing out at the track and started learning a lot out there. And I've been racing at the track for 2 years now. And I actually went to track nationals last 2 years. The first year in Texas and the second year in Pennsylvania to race against the top junior racers in the country. Track bikes and fixed gears are kind of the original type of bike because back before anyone had invented gears or shifters or ways to change gears and all that sort of stuff, it was just one gear and no brakes. And so it's a direct drive, just means that the pedals and the wheel are connected, so one can't spin without the other spinning. These are the shoes that I'm going to ride in when I'm riding on the track or on the road. They use a special kind of pedals for competitive cycling called clipless pedals, which essentially means that these pieces right here are actually going to lock into the pedals and keep my foot attached. It's especially important on a fixed gear bike because the pedals are always in motion. If your feet slip off them, the pedals are going to hit you and cause you to crash most likely. So it's very important to be attached to the pedals. Right here that I race at the track, you can see it has a lot of differences from an ordinary bike. If you look at the handlebars, there's not really anything on them, and that's because there's no controls or anything on a track bike. If you look, the handlebars are a lot lower than the saddle. Now that's to put you in a really aerodynamic low position on the bike. Ideally, when I'm riding this, my back is going to be flat and level with the ground. So these are all the medals I have specifically from racing at the track, but all these are just kind of from various races out of the track. Got a bunch of silvers and a bronze there. This one's kind of the most important. This one's my silver state championship medal that I got last year.
Family comes first, but parents always say to follow your dreams. So what's a kid to do? Junior Elizabeth Harris struggles to balance her love of dance and commitment to her family's business.
I started dancing when I was 3 years old. I can dance whenever I want, I can dance wherever I want, I can take whatever classes I want. I would definitely dance over working, like with catering, because dancing is more expressive and I like to express myself because I have problems expressing myself with words, and I can do that within dance. Within catering, it's just like, you just do labor. It's not really creative unless you're like in the kitchen being the chef. Usually when I work at a party, I either work in the kitchen or I work as like a waiter who passes around food, and then I pick up dirty plates, dirty dishes, stuff like that.
Really, catering, a lot of people can think that it's a really glamorous job, but it's really kind of nasty on the other end of it, because it's like we are just slinging food sometimes, but it's a very creative outlet for me, and it's a very creative outlet for our family.
I like working with my family because I don't get to see them a lot on the weekends, so when I work with them, I get to see them for like long periods of time. Most of the time, just like either out with my friends because my parents aren't home, or I just sit home alone and watch movies and play with my dog. I love my dogs.
Balancing out Elizabeth's dance and work has not always been super easy. There have been a lot of times that we have had to balance things out and figure out, leave something early leave a rehearsal or a class early in order to get to work.
I got injured at dance, like my knees got injured, and I couldn't lift some of the heavy things that I would have to lift with working because of my injuries from dance. My friends ask me to come hang out, and I usually say I can't because I have to go to work. And sometimes my parents actually use work as like a punishment if I've done something wrong.
For The Deck, I'm Anna Downing.
The Deck crew has exclusive stories on 310.org. Here's what you'll see when you log in over the holidays. The stories featured on today's show are about an event in someone's life. Mary Adams and Jordan Dillard covered a sensitive topic about a sophomore who decided to make a major life decision. ESS teacher Angela Wade has been commuting to school for the past 10 years from her farm in McDonough. Now, she is selling the farm and moving to Decatur. Max Waterhouse talks with her about the big decision. Sophomore Rolf Tarakoski is a practiced rock climber who has competed in climbing competitions all over the country. Henry Shunk finds out how he came to love this uncommon sport. With the holiday season in full swing, special events are popping up all over town. Molly Emma O'Neill and Connor Allison show you two great choices to keep you in the spirit. Every Saturday, Decatur hosts a local farmers market at the corner of North McDonough and Trinity, right across from the Chick-fil-A. Anita Renfro gives us a look at some of the vendors and what they're selling. Senior Raven J. Scott has started her own photography company called Aesthetically Rich Concepts and always has a photo shoot to get to. I'm taking you behind the scenes. See these deck stories and more from our partners on the Scribbler staff at 310.org.
Jalen Harris has loved basketball since he was a little kid. Since then, he has emerged as an all-around player, even though he hasn't played for Decatur since 9th grade. My partner Brooke Pearson and I bring you his story.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho, H to the O-V. I used to move snowflakes by the OZ. I guess even back then you can call me CEO of the ROC. Ho.
Jaylon Harris won't be playing varsity basketball his last year of high school, but he still has the motivation to follow his dreams.
I just really want to go as far as basketball can take me. Like, you hear people complain, oh, if I was taller or if I was stronger, but I don't see it like that. I see it as I have all the tools I need right now to do what I need to do. It's up to me to work hard and get there.
I walked over on the court, didn't know him at all. I said, hey, I'll show you how to shoot this basketball. Spread your fingers. I asked him what kind of ball was he. He said a Wilson. I said, not a Wilson, that's a Harris ball. Put your hand over the top of it and say it's a Harris ball. He placed his hand wide over the top of the ball. I said, all you gotta do is place that ball up above your head, flick your hand, shoot the free throw. Shot 3 or 4. I said, that boy gonna be something.
How does your family support you?
Well, as far as my dad goes, he keeps it real with me. Like, he lets me know where I'm at as far as skill-wise and where I need to go. And you always need somebody to keep it real with you because you don't want somebody blowing your head up and turns out you're not as good as you think you are.
As time went on, you know, Jalen got better. You know, he worked out, he worked hard. I told him one day, Jalen, you're not going to become a good ball player until you're willing to go outside and work with nobody looking at you.
It has been a struggle as a parent. Of course, we all want our kids to be successful at whatever they choose. And especially when you see a kid work really, really hard at something and you watch the progression and you watch him grow and you watch him become better.
Jalen would get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go outside and shoot around. He come home, get homework done, go back outside and shoot around.
When I met Jalen, he was what you consider to be an undersized guard. He is now what I would consider a true point guard. True point guard skills, true outside shooting skills. He can set up an offense, set up a defense. He runs the floor. He is truly a floor general now.
My brother inspires me to work harder because whenever I see him go outside and shoot basketball, and he works really hard, even though he doesn't always get, you know, chances to show how good he is to everybody.
Jalen is here for a bigger purpose. His testimony is so much bigger than just basketball and not making the basketball team.
If I die and I only help one person make it, then my job would be accomplished.
His testimony is going to be that through my disappointments, through my life, you know, life just hit me in my face, I got up. And I did something that was so unbelievable, that was so great, and along the way, I helped other kids do the same.
My name is Jaylon Harris, not ball.
Growing up with siblings has its ups and downs. Junior D'Angelo Watkins had the rare opportunity 2 years ago to forge a brand new sibling relationship when he moved in with senior Ben Rigger. The Deck's Julian Garcia tells us their story.
I moved here because my mom was moving out of the district, and I pretty much I didn't really want to leave Decatur because all my friends was here. You know, I've been here for 10 years now, and I didn't really want to move out of the district, so they were just inviting me to just come live with me pretty much. I was like, all right, I'll do that. I've been here pretty much around, say, a year and a half now, and pretty much our relationship is it started off strong, and every day that I come here, without sleep here, it gets stronger. I feel like I love it here pretty much. I mean, I'm treated well. It's just this place that I can call home now.
We wanted him to stay at Decatur. He wanted to stay at Decatur, and this was the opportunity for him to stay at Decatur. I think it would have been better for him to stay with us because it would just be better for him academically and athletically.
Before I lived with Ben, pretty much our relationship was nothing but lacrosse. After I started living here, he's like a brother now, pretty much. His family's pretty much my family. Before living here, school, wasn't that big of a deal in my house, you know? It wasn't something that was pressured on me about. So I mean, when I moved here, school's my number one. It turned into my number one priority. And I was pretty much told that if school wasn't right, then nothing, you know what I mean? I couldn't go anywhere without school, so school should be my first priority so that I can get to do what I want to do later on in life.
Having him around has definitely been more exciting, and I think it's meant a lot to Ben to have somebody else in the house just besides him. So I think it's definitely been an enjoyable experience, and he's kind of energized us to some degree.
Being here, I mean, pretty much, it just went from me only doing lacrosse when I wanted to go shoot or something, but now lacrosse is like, I don't know, we talk about lacrosse maybe like every day pretty much. It's always coming up. Every day at dinner it's coming up, and it's like lacrosse all around.
Without lacrosse, we would never met him. He would never be. He would probably be in Gwinnett with his mom.
Well, we'll come here after school, and I mean, we don't leave until like we're trying to go hang out, and we're not. I mean, we'll come back, and they probably won't know we're here until like the next morning.
I was hoping for a brother kind of relationship, and it happened, and I didn't really want to think of the negatives that could have occurred. I try to help him out as much as I can. He tries to help me out as much as he can. Help him with schoolwork. I don't know if he ever tried to help me with schoolwork, but I just try and keep him on task sometimes, because his mind can go off in D'Angelo world.
It's been a rewarding experience, I think, for all of us. I hope he achieves everything he should.
Decatur residents have plenty to do and see in the 4 square miles that the city occupies. However, 2 communities right outside the city line have a culture all their own. Connor Allison and I explore these neighboring areas.
The city of Avondale Estates was founded in 1924. It is currently home to almost 3,000 residents. Many students from Decatur High School live in Avondale Estates. One student told us about how long she's been there.
I've lived in Avondale all of my life in the same house.
Like all cities, Avondale Estates is growing. City Manager Clay Brown has one area where he wants to focus that growth.
The biggest thing that we're focusing on now is development in our downtown area, the commercial node. We are ripe for development.
There are plenty of reasons to live in Avondale Estates.
If I was trying to win someone over to move to Avondale, I would talk about how safe Avondale is, how great it was growing up in Avondale with, the park, the pool, the lake. You know your neighbors really well, and it's a safe little community.
Kirkwood is not a city, but a neighborhood of East Atlanta. Many business operators enjoy that aspect.
I really like it because it's a neighborhood spot, so a lot of our customers are regulars.
For resident Doug Wood, simple words come to mind when he thinks of his city.
Fantastic, wonderful, community.
Kirkwood is also growing, but in a different way than Decatur and Avondale.
Well, we're still trying to struggle, and we're just getting restaurants. We're getting a nice cluster of places to gather. It's different than Avondale and Decatur in that it's not as established, so it still has a lot of area for growth and for energy that comes to making the community family friendly, with a support for each other and a caring of making the neighborhood a strong, vital presence in the Atlanta area.
For The Deck, I'm Connor Allison.
And won't you be my neighbor?
The holiday season is the time when family comes together to celebrate their faith and culture. My partner Madison Van Buren and I explored 2 of the most prominent religions, Christianity and Judaism, to see how they celebrate their holiday traditions.
The Saturday after Thanksgiving, we go and get our Christmas tree, and we watch the Georgia Tech game while we decorate it. We got our Georgia ornament, first one to go on.
Hanukkah is a lot less commercialized, and you'll see Christmas decorations the day after before Thanksgiving.
Every year my grandma makes a birthday cake for Jesus, which is very delicious, and so we kind of, in a different way, get to celebrate his birth.
Well, what we do is we always have our Hanukkah bush. It's pretty much a Christmas tree, but it has a bunch of Hanukkah decorations, a little Jewish star, some blue lights. And then we always have the menorah, and we like to light candles.
Christmas Eve, we go to Christmas Eve service and eat Chinese food with our family, and then Christmas Day, we make donuts in the morning. It's really fun and really tasty.
On the first night, and normally the last night, we tend to have a big dinner, and sometimes we'll go over to our other Jewish friend's house and have a big dinner with latkes, donuts, and brisket.
I think a word to describe Christmas would be meaningful, because you spend a lot of time with your family and you do a lot of things for other people, and it's really all about giving, even though it doesn't really seem like that anymore.
Of course I like getting presents, that's fun. But I also like giving presents to people who I think deserve them. Like who are nice. When it's fun to give like my little sister presents because she's really appreciative.
I guess it's nice to do something special for everyone, and then it's just like fun when you get that perfect gift. You know they're gonna love it. Yeah.
We're about to close the door on 2012, but the deck crew is already looking forward to Lucky 2013. Some of us are heading to California in March for the National Student Television Network Convention. You can apply to join next year's deck crew now by picking up an interest form outside room 220. Help us produce multimedia stories for the show and for the Convergence website 310.org. Have a safe winter break, and we'll see you next time on The Deck.